डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी.
Good morning, good day friends. Myself Dr. Ajay Patel, and I would like to continue our previous discussion regarding the overview of cyber security or the introduction of cyber security. In this session we are going to discuss regarding the risk assessment, and before we discuss about the risk assessment, it is सचिन भाई स्क्रीन અહીંયા પેલી ટ્રાન્સફર કરજો. Yes. So we are going to discuss the key terminology before we discuss about the risk assessment. So here these are the key terminology. Key terminology, that means we can say we need to understand some words. So the simplest terminology for this is first of all the asset. Now asset, that means in terms of cyber security for any organization, when we are dealing with the risk assessment, when we are talking about the risk assessment, the asset means the entire IT infrastructure of the system. That means organization's hardware, network resources, data storage mechanism, data storage regarding hardware, then after organizations software including website, mobile application development, network resources, then after we can say practices or policies for the IT applicable for the IT access, and other devices like biometric machine or any smart gadgets which are available in an organization. So all these can be considered as asset. Then after the next is attack vector. Now what is the attack vector? An attack vector is defined as the technique by which unauthorized access is gained inside the computer or network for a criminal purpose and by exploiting the vulnerabilities in the system. So the attack vector, that means the mechanism which were used to gain the access or to penetrate the network or to penetrate to hack the website of the organization for the criminal purpose. Now vulnerabilities, this is very important term because the vulnerability assessment is the key term in the cyber security. So the vulnerability, that means the weaknesses or the gaps, means loopholes in a system security program, design policies and implementation of the policies that can be exploited by different threats to gain unauthorized access of a computer system or network. So these are the vulnerabilities. Now the threat that we can simply say that anything that can exploit a vulnerability intentionally or accidentally and obtain damage or destroy an asset, that means the threat factor, that can exploit the vulnerability. And risk, that means the probability of loss in terms of asset due to the threat. So, this is called the risk. And then after the countermeasure. Countermeasure, that means an action, device, procedure or techniques that reduce a threat, a vulnerability or an attack by eliminating it or preventing it, or by minimizing it can cause the harm, or by the discovering and reporting mechanism or the corrective processes should be taken. All these steps are called the countermeasure actions. So, these are the key terminology, and this key terminology will be frequently mentioned during the upcoming discussion. So, simply this is the entire we can say the threat terminology connect. All these threat terminology we connect with each other. So, first if we look at the here the threat agent, we can see the threat agent and owners, those are the entities. So, threat agents are generally initiate the threats or find the threats into the system, and we can say the threat agents are the group or an individual who launch the attack. Now, owners, that means the employee of the organization, IT department or IT security departments, those who are trying to protect the system or those who are providing some corrective actions for the infected systems, and from the threat agents or the group of criminals find the threat, and they target the assets of the organization, and with the pre-calculated risk or predefined risk assessment approaches, the owners are trying to save the assets by taking some countermeasures. Now, before we go for the risk assessment, here we need to learn the types of attack. Various types of attack are there. Broadly, we can categorize by nature the threats into the active attack as well as passive attacks. Now, active attacks, that means the attacker or the criminals penetrate into the system, and after the penetration they also perform some malicious activity or some harmful activities. So, these are the threats can be categorized as an active attacks. Now, passive attacks. Passive attacks are the attack types in which the penetration has made, but the penetrator, that means the attacker do not take any harmful steps or do not perform any harmful activities into the compromised system. So, these are the passive attacks. Then after inside attack. So, this category can be classified as inside attack as well as outside attack. So, first of all, inside attack. What is the inside attack? Inside attack, that means the criminal or malified activities carried out by the insider of the organization, that means employee of the organization, who is authorized to access the resources, that means he or she is authorized user, but now he is misusing his access right to harm the organization. Then after outside attacks, we can say the outside of attacks are carried out by the outsider of the organization, Now outside attacks are possible by the system investigation, careful investigation of the system, or we can say once though the attacker or hackers, those who are outside of the organization are successfully are able to successfully find out the vulnerability of the system, like endpoint vulnerabilities there, in the sense open port of the system, or some poor password or poor access configuration. So based upon these they launch the attack. So these kind of attackers are called, or these kind of attacks are called the outside attack. Then after SQL injection, SQL, that means SQL, structured query language. Now as we know the importance of database management system, the database server is the backbone of any application, because ultimately entire data is stored into the database. Now the attackers, those who are having the proficiency in the SQL query performer, so those who are proficient in to perform the SQL queries will tried randomly, or they fire some query directly to the database server from the browser URL, or by using some another mode, and in that they simply they guess about the database structure of the system and try to find out or try to fetch some data at initial level. Now for example, they are trying to find a select star from user master table where user ID equal to 1. That means using this kind of record, it might be possible that due to the some weaknesses of system will provide the all account details whose account number starts with the 1. So it is called the SQL injection attack. Now the DOS attacks, DOS attack, that means denial of services. Denial of services, that means in this kind of attack the attacker will prevent the legitimate user, the attacker will restrict the legitimate user to access the system by initiating some kind of flooding attack, or by sending the large volume of packet to the server. So what happened, for example, any website, because as we know the for any software, the ultimately the software speed or the software efficiency mainly depends on the hardware. So for example, if you are using the network and the if hackers can identify your network capacity, then what will happen? First of all, they will compromise your network, means they will get the access of network by getting your login credential of the wireless network or physical network. Then after, the attacker will send large number of packet, and the number of packet, that means it exceed than the capacity, actual capacity of the network. In that situation, what will happen? The entire network goes down and the legitimate user of the network are even not able to access the network. So these kind of attacks are called the DOS attacks, and the more sophisticated, because when the attack is launched from the multiple host, then we can say it's a distributed DOS attack, that means DDoS attack, distributed denial of services attack. Then after, the next is man in the middle attack or session hijacking. So that means it's like a kind of eavesdropping. Eavesdropping, that means a particular attacker or a hacker find out some vulnerabilities or some loophole in the communication line between two nodes. Then after, what they will do, they will listen entire conversation between two hosts and trying to derive some meaningful information which will help them to penetrate into the system. And we can also say they could hijack the session. Hijack the session also, that means even two legal or legitimate nodes cannot communicate properly into the system. So, this is the man in the middle egg. Then after, brute force attack. Now, brute force attack are kind of password attack, or we can say the simplest way and least sophisticated way of the cyber security attack type, because it does not require any advanced knowledge for the penetration. It is simply based on the password guessing, and sometime it also involves the information gathering through the social engineering, and by using the by applying the collected information with some automated tools, the attackers will try to apply different passwords for the system, and once they succeed, they can get the access of legitimate users account. So, these are the brute force attack. Then after, malware attack. Malware attack, that means malicious software attack. We can say virus, worm, Trojan horse, spyware, ransomware, adware are categorized as malware attacks. Malware attacks, that means if we look nature wise, for example, virus, worms, little bit difference is there between the virus and worm. Virus are not self propagated, when worms are propagating themselves. Then after, ransomware, that means they encrypt all your systems information. Then after, adware, that means the agent installed into the your machine and continuously displaying the advertise. Then after, the spywares are a type of vulnerability which continuously spying your, means continuously collecting your activity data and sending to some outsider. So, this kind of attacks or this kind of vulnerabilities can be called as a malware attack. Then after, phishing. The phishing, we can say it's a sophisticated form of the attack. In the phishing, what will happen in we can say the phishing scam also. In what happened, first of all, the attackers gather all your information and trying to gather the information. Then after, they send some link to you, and generally what happen, we ignore this kind of link, but with the help of information gathering using the social media analysis or social engineering, the attackers try to collect your interest or to try to find out your surfing patterns or surfing behavior. Based on that, they send email or SMS to you, and once you click in the link which is available into the message or mail, they render you on some phishing platform there. They steal your username and password or OTP like detail, and from that, this kind of login credential, they try to access your actual account or actual systems. In the same, the spear phishing is a very common. Now, what is the spear phishing? Spear phishing, that means the attacker finds the particular group of people or means user from the specific organization. That means we generally see that SBI credit card holders targeted by the phishing for so and so phishing scam, etc., etc. So, in that case, the particular organization, that means SBI, SBI's clients audience is also fixed. SBI's client are being targeted. So, it is called the spear phishing. Next, if we look at the risk assessment, so we can derive, this is the equation for the risk assessment. So, how to derive the risk assessment? Because as we already discussed this terminology like asset, threat, vulnerabilities and countermeasure. So, this is the equation to derive the risk. That means asset multiplied by the threats and vulnerabilities and divided by the countermeasure. Then we can estimate the risk. If we look at the closely, then first of all it includes the risk assessment includes the asset value assessment. Asset value assessment, that means first of all, before performing the risk assessment, you should be aware regarding your assets, because sometime what happen, the organization people or the organization management feels that these are the asset which are dead asset, and we should not consider this kind of asset into our regular asset or working asset. But sometimes what happen, because due to these dead assets, it is frequently observed that these kind of dead IT assets left for the future use or future information, or we can say the some emergency use without applying proper security mechanism. Now, some attackers might target this kind of dead asset because they can easily penetrate into the system, because this kind of assets are with poor protection mechanism in terms of cyber security. So, in each and every case, we need to calculate entire hardware resources, entire network resources, all the software, all the data and all the IT related resources for the asset value assessment. Then after, next is the threat action and its consequences. So, threat actions contains the action which are the possible for the threat, and once your network, your system affects from the threat, what would be the consequence of these threat actions or these threats, it should be considered. Then after, the next step is the threat analysis. Now, for the threat analysis, you need to analyze the skill level of the threat group or the threat agents, that means proficient, intermediate or beginner or opportunity based. So, we need to, first of all, we need to analyze the skill level of the threat group. So, first of all, we need to try the identify the threat group. Then after, second, we need to identify the motive, because it's completely malified, or for it's only for the some kind of mischievous activity, or it's for the some recognition, or it's for the business rivalry, or it's for the revenge. So in through that we can derive the loss of the company. Then after, opportunity. Now opportunity, that means how the threat agent uh, get the opportunity to penetrate into the system. So are there some known vulnerability, are there any loophole into the existing security infrastructure? So this kind of parameter should be identified. Then after, size, that means at here it is also important to identify the size of the threat agent group, because it would help to estimate the risk. Then after, vulnerability assessment. Now vulnerability assessment, that means there are two ways penetration testing and vulnerability testing analysis can be done. One, with the having knowledge of the system and topology, that means in that case you should know the entire system and information regarding the infrastructure, each and everything the which need to, or we can say which can be categorized as an IT resources, or the regarding all these in the resources information are required. Then after, you can perform the vulnerability assessment, or in other case you can perform the vulnerability assessment with zero knowledge, that means vulnerability assessment with the black box testing. Now these are the vulnerabilities, that means lack of sufficient logging mechanism, means poor login. Input validation vulnerability, that means cross site scripts are allowed or possible. Sensitive data protection vulnerability, again poor data protection mechanism. Session management vulnerability, that we can say the session management or the way of handling the session is not proper. Cryptographic, that means information cryptography or the encryption decryption algorithms are not proper. For example, we are storing our password into the plain text. Then after, memory leak, that means it purely related with the hardware issues. It might possible that attackers find some leakages in your system or in your memory infrastructure, and then they can steal the information. Cross site request forgery, remote code execution, and business logic vulnerability. So these are the known vulnerability, and this is the VAPT process. VAPT process, that means first of all you need to identify the scope, then after you need to gather the information, then after you need to detect the vulnerability, you need to find out, you need to perform information analysis and planning. It is followed by the privilege escalation, finally result analysis, reporting, and vulnerability cleaning is there. Now vulnerability factors, the goal here is to estimate the likelihood of the particular vulnerability involving being the discovered and exploited. Assume the threat agent selected above, ease of discovery. How easy is it for the group of threat agent to discover this vulnerability? Impossible, difficult, easy, via automated tools. Ease of exploit, that means how easy is it for this group of the threat agent to actually exploit this vulnerability. Theoretical, difficult, easy, automated tools available. Then after, awareness, well-known vulnerability, intrusion detection, and estimating impact of the particular vulnerability. Estimating impact, that means we can define the impact into the two part. First one is the technical impact factor. Technical impact factors are like the loss of confidentiality. So this is the effect, loss of confidentiality, loss of integrity, how much data could be corrupted, or how much data could be disclosed and how sensitive is it. Then after loss of availability, that means whether the system is available after the attack or not, can it be restored or not. Then after loss of accountability, that means are the threat agent action traceable to an individual, traceable, possibly traceable, or completely anomalous. So is it easy, or can you define, can you find out some accountable person, can you define the accountability or not. Then after the business impact, the business impact factors are the factors those affect the business of the organization after the cyber attack or cyber threat. So the financial damage, how much the financial damage will result from exploit, minor, major, bankruptcy. Then after reputation damage, obviously once you have affected from the system, then you would your reputation would be damaged into the market. Then after non-compliance, how much exposure does the non-compliance introduce, that means minor violation, clear violation, or high profile violation. Then after privacy violation, that means how much personally identifiable information could be disclosed. So these are the risk factors. So friend, in this session we discuss regarding about the risk factor, about the attacks, and about the risk assessment, about the vulnerability assessment. So these are the important factor to assess the loss for any organization. Okay friend, thank you very much, and I would like to conclude this session at here. Okay, once again thank you very much.
स्वाध्यायः परः